G'day YouTubers. Well, my idea of mixing some fishing with these videos didn't last very long. I got that first video out, and now coming up to the second video, I had planned to go out to the 35 Fathom Reef and cover some of the areas that I hadn't spoken about last time. I had the boat all packed ready to go, but I woke up a couple of times during the night and it was raining cats and dogs. And when I woke up ready to go, it was still raining cats and dogs. I mean really heavy. I would have got saturated just hooking the boat up. So I decided I'd pull the pin on that. As it turned out, it was a good decision, but it means that I didn't get out to do the area that I wanted to do, so I'm doing the 29 Fathom Reef where I have some footage of fishing. So it looks like I'm going to jump here, there and everywhere to see if I can get some fishing footage mixed in with all this. See how we go. In the meantime, here is the 29 Fathom Reef. So this is the line of marks that we're going to follow along the main axis of the 29 Fathom Reef. There are some spurs that go out to the east and west that are worth having a look at, but we're just going to follow the main axis for now, and I'll mention the spurs at some later video. Make sure you subscribe if you don't want to miss these things. There's a lot of marks along here, and my usual method is to start down somewhere near the south end of it and just motor up at a relatively low speed, zigzagging a little bit, looking for the fish. When I find them, I spot lock if possible. If there's too much current, I drift. But in general I try to spot lock on this particular reef. My personal preference on this 29 Fathom Reef is to spot lock. I find that I do a lot better that way. If you prefer drifting, by all means give that a go. It's just not the way I prefer to fish this particular area. Although if the current is running hard, I do drift, because there's a limit to just how much current the spot lock will hold in. These are pretty much all marks that I have gathered over the years. There may be one or two that I picked up off the internet, and I will flag them as we come across them, but by and large these are marks that I've fished at some point. I keep them, not because I expect to find fish there again. Yes, the fish were there once. They probably will show up there again at some point, but they're not going to be there next week. They will have moved. Fish are mobile, and they move from spot to spot. But I keep the marks mainly to know that the fish were there once, and I should slow down and have a good scan of the area when I'm looking for the next spot to fish, just in case they're back there this time. I can go through more than half these marks and not find anything before I get up a little bit further north, and there they are. On the other hand, sometimes I'll find them right on the southern end. It's not a magic bullet. You have to put in the hard yards on your sounder to find the fish. These are just areas to look. And when you're trying to search it on a sounder, believe me, 29 Fathom Reef is a big area. Because there's so many marks in this area, and some of them are packed very tightly together, I'm going to zoom in and just do them in little sections so that you can see the individual marks. I'll start off down on the south end of the reef and we'll work our way north from there. Said I'd flag any marks that weren't mine, and these first two marks with the blue crosses aren't mine. I picked them up off the internet somewhere. I may have scanned them on the sonar, but I don't think I've ever fished them. At least not that I can remember. This next mark is one that I haven't actually fished, but I did scan it, and I saw something that I thought was worth going back there and having another look at. So I put the mark in, but what looks like I didn't take a screenshot of the sonar. I didn't do that in the early days because I didn't have the facility to save images in the Fish Tracks program I'm developing. I do keep them pretty regularly now though. But anyway, that's a story. Worth a look, but I'm not sure that there'll be fish there because, as I said, didn't find any fish. I just found something there that I thought was worth another look. And this one's another one I got off the internet. I think there's only one other that I got off the internet up further north, but it's extremely close to the marks that I've fished, so well worthwhile going around this group of marks and seeing what you can find there. The last time I remember actually stopping and fishing on these next two marks was back when I had the little orange haines. I stopped there and had a fish. The sounders I had in that little orange haines weren't as good as the ones I have now. They were good sounders for what they were. They were 2D sounders, just your traditionals. Had a Furuno in there and a Garmin. And Furuno was a really good 2D sounder. Anyway, I stopped there, had a fish. As I recall, I pulled up maybe half a dozen undersized pearlies, and I got a couple of snapper in the 40 centimetre range, so they're keepers. But it wasn't spectacular. However, it was a nice calm day out there and very relaxing. And I don't have to remember that because I know the Haines was so small that I only ever went over the bar on a really, really calm day. The marks in this circled area are very densely packed, so I'll just zoom in closer on that so we can look at them. As you can probably guess from how densely these marks are packed, this is a little area that I've fished quite a bit over the years. In fact, it's almost exactly 140 metres between the southernmost mark and the northernmost mark in this group. So this just sort of illustrates to you that even in a spot where you're going to catch fish, you're not going to get them in exactly the same mark every time. You have to look around. And even 100 metres takes a little while to scan on a sonar. So take your time, go really, really slow. I like to scan when I'm looking for fish, not much more than 1 or 2 knots, because that gives me the best view of the bottom. Going fast, you'll find structure, but you have to go slow, or at least I have to go slow in order to see fish. I don't have any pictures of the fish that I've caught here, so most of them would have been caught before I got into this idea of doing videos and taking many photos. I do have one screenshot of the area showing quite a good bit of structure for fishing on, but we've got more as I go further north. Not sure why, but lately I've found the fish further north. I'm sure they come south, maybe just the days that I was out there. I'll just zoom in again on this next group that I've got marked here, so we can examine that one in detail. To give you an idea, there's 1.8 kilometres between the southernmost mark in this group and the northernmost mark, so it covers a large area, and that indicates that the reef probably isn't as densely packed in this spot as it is elsewhere. Maybe I missed some fishing spots in between them. It's a big area to cover, and every now and then I put on a burst of speed when I'm not seeing anything much, and once I'm going past, you don't see as much on the bottom. But because it's such a huge reef, I tend to go in bursts. I'll slow down, have a look, go in a bit of a burst if I found nothing, and slow down again, have another bit of a look. As I mentioned, I can only find the fish if I'm going really slow, but if I'm going really slow, it'll take all day to cover this reef. I don't want to spend all day looking. I've got to spend enough time to find the fish, but for that reason I just tend to go in bursts and have a look here and there. I didn't have much in the way of screenshots from the sounder in that last group. There was only the one. However, it was a good group for fishing. I think probably the one that I do have the screenshot from was the one that I fished on this particular occasion. Just flashing up the group here so we're clear on what group we're looking at. I'm going to play some video from these fishing trips. Oh, I missed it. Oh, no, maybe I didn't. Oh, I got him. Oh, he's a nice fish too. Oh shit! Oh. Now what this one is, he's not fighting like a snapper. He just feels like a lump of rock. Not fighting at all. But there he is, small snap. Squire. Oh, yeah. Huh. I don't know what happened there, I got bitten off or something.
Oh, yes, nice one. Oh, geez, I better get that net out ready next time. He wasn't far off getting off. He's 52. That's a bit better. Might pull him up, I think. Oh, he might have got him. Yes, got him. Another good one. Oh. Oh, another nice one. Yes, another one. Oh, two. Holy shit, I'm bagged out. Oh, I think one might be small though. Yeah, one small. How big are you? Because I think I'm going to have to throw you back. So I'll look after you first. Oh, how big are you? 34. So you go back as well. There's two back, one bitten off, and three on board so far. That one's just shy of 50, 48 and a half. Still a good size. There you go, 48 and a half. Another nice snap. That's it, I bagged out. And that's it for snaps for the day. I've got to think about what I'm going to do for the rest of the day now. Bagged out on snapper, there's not much point staying here.
Those of you that have been watching my channel for a while will know that I like to include a little bit of history in these whenever there's something relevant in the general area. I haven't got a lot of history on the east side of Moreton. I've just got this one bit, and it's the Rous Battery. As I was growing up and I first heard about the Rous Battery, I assumed it was on the western side near the Rous Channel. That's not the case. It's called the Rous Battery, but it's on the eastern side of Moreton, defending Moreton Bay from the attack from the sea during World War II. I've got some maps here of the actual layout of the fort. It was quite an extensive area, really. I think there was only 2 guns there, but quite a lot of support for those 2 guns. I'll put some links in the video description below if you're interested in the history of Fort Rous. I'll take you to a couple of sites that deal in that, and not only Fort Rous but the general defences of Brisbane in World War II. It's pretty fascinating, I find. And I've got to say, looking at this picture, if I had to be stationed somewhere in World War II, this is the place I'd like to be. How's that? All that beach, swimming, fishing. Not to say that the people that were assigned there weren't doing a sterling job, just that it seems to me that they were very lucky to get that assignment rather than some of the others that were around at that time. Now, these are some pictures of the walk to the area. I've got some video of it I'll play shortly. I'll just let them play through, and while they're playing, I just have to say that I'm not a military man, I don't understand these things. But if I were wanting to invade Australia and Brisbane had the defences it had, which weren't terrific given the scale of the amphibious assaults in the Pacific. But even so, it had some defences. I would probably just go north a little bit, up to Gympie or somewhere, where there were no defences, land there and come and take Brisbane from the land side, rather than having them shoot at my ships while they're landing. It just seems a no-brainer to me. All the photos up until now have been of what it looks like currently. I have this one photo back in the day when it was operational, and to be honest, that gun and the other one like it that was there doesn't look all that intimidating to me if I was planning a naval assault. But again, as I just said, I wouldn't land there at all. I'd go elsewhere where there were no defences. Maybe military minds work differently. And I have some footage here from another channel. One of my boys runs a adventure channel doing all sorts of things. There's a link in the description to his channel if you want to check out some of the other things he does. And this is his video from when he did a hiking trip around Moreton, his visit to the Rous Battery. Well, this has been a very long video because I had that bit of history wanted to show and fit that in. So I only got halfway through the marks that I have for this area, but that's fine. We'll continue on up north in the next video. I've generally found that when the fish are on the 29 fathom line, the fishing is great. They're not always on. I have done the line when I found nothing and I've had to go elsewhere, but when they're on, it's good. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it helps you get some more fish. Until next time, good fishing.